I
I
think
think
they were pretty
two
successful
aspect
in
two aspect. At that time, American government they have many Soviet influenced people in the government organization. I'm not sure how many people moving toward Tokyo GHQ, but some influence for that their strategy. And but also GHQ core people they do not recognize which party is wrong, which party is the right and left and wing. So first 2 years they are struggling to figure out which direction they have to go. But finally they realized the Communist Party and sort of organization is wrong. But at that time, too late to fix those people. So teachers association they couldn't change, they couldn't influence those organizations. That's the reason why they protect. For example, English speaking English teachers. They could not fire English teachers who cannot speak English completely. That's the reason why Japanese people cannot speak English. And those kind of association is still now is problem. So
right.
so
Yeah, but yeah, so sorry, but then I say, my God, then Japan, you did something wrong yourself. You can't really put that on the Americans anymore. That this is you had like 70 years to fix it. You still couldn't fix it. Sorry,
yes,
but
yeah, education
I
is very
cannot.
yeah education is very difficult to change the course, as you know. Only in Japan, the rest of the world, they have many right-wing people, many left-wing people. Like Asahi newspaper, they always betray Japanese people because they so many influenced by socialists, communists. Still many
But is
people.
that? But seriously, I mean, I really wonder. Like they always betray Japanese people, but how come that they're being supported? You think that your thinking is right, but it's just different from other people. Other people might support these ideas, and
No, come
that's part
on.
of
Is Ed
democracy.
still Ed is when I was student, high school, university student, 1960s. Okay, many students influenced by Communist Party, and many people studied Marxism.
Yeah, the whole Western world was also in like we had the student process in the United States, in
No, no,
Europe,
no, no,
everywhere.
no, no.
But yeah,
Majority people they studied instead of Samuelson. It's crazy, it's crazy. And university professors, many people, left-wing people, it's crazy. Just
everywhere in the world.
no, no, no. Majority.
Oh, come on. Uno-san, we had the 68 student protest in Paris. We had the student protest in Amsterdam. We had student protest in the United States. It was happening everywhere. This was part of the
Okay,
of a global
which
movement.
country just newspapers against democracy? Only Japan. Like which
But
like Asahi newspaper, betray Japan. They try to
why is
accept.
it
Okay, I
betrayal?
tell
Because
you,
people support these
they
ideas.
criticize the Japanese. Like for example, Nanjing massacre, and they accepted the comfort woman. Asahi newspaper did.
Yeah,
They try
yeah,
to tell
yeah.
they try
So does
to
a lot of the rest of the world. I
yeah,
mean,
they
this is
try to always
basically.
try to telling a lie, but still they don't change their lying,
Oh,
right?
oh, 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 oh. You think that is a bigger lie than the lies that we're being told by
Yeah,
the other media? I
it's
don't think so.
Trump fake
It's
news
just
is
fake.
small issues. Japanese newspaper is many people left-wing people.
No, you're being anti-democratic. People are entitled to their opinion. They're not deliberately lying. The right-wing media has been lying just as hard as the left-wing media. This is a part of democracy. I don't believe that Japan has been betrayed only by the left wing. They're being betrayed from all the sides. So is everybody else in this world.
Okay, one example. I want to get a question answer from you. How about the Japanese Prime Minister cannot go to Yasukuni Shrine? Yeah, seriously, how do you think? Do you know that this is just only Japan kind of stupid, uh, thinking approach is prevailing.
I understand it.
It's crazy because of 1985, Asahi newspaper criticized Japanese government going to the Yasukuni Shrine. This is Yasukuni Shrine is 3 million soldiers, enshrined, this is criminal. So he just big news by Asahi newspaper. Then following day, Chinese government against Japanese prime minister going to Yasukuni Shrine. Before
Yasukuni Shrine has
1985,
always been a
nobody
symbol.
complained visiting Yasukuni Shrine. Before
Okay, but Yasukuni
1985.
Shrine has always been a symbol of the Japanese war effort. As okay, basically every soldier would end up and be referred to at the Yasukuni Shrine. That's not new. We cannot attribute that to the Asahi Shimbun. Maybe what Asahi Shimbun did is they revealed the fact that war criminals were also revered at this shrine, and that was picked up by the foreign media. But is that betrayal of Japan, or is that just a fact?
No, this criticize, like a Japanese history.
No. Is that a fact or is that not a fact?
No. This what they are talking about is.
Is it a fact? It's a fact.
No, not
it's a
fact.
fact.
What is a fact?
Okay, so basically there are war criminals and.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Ed. What does it mean, war criminals?
Basically, people who have been convicted of war crimes by the UN in this case, they are, but they have not been renounced, and they are being revered at the Yasukuni Shrine. Is that
Wait
a fact?
Wait a minute. What do you think about Tokyo's trial?
We're talking about facts, Kuno-san.
No. I'm talking about you said criminal. What does this mean?
Having been convicted of war crimes.
Wait a minute. What is a war crime?
What is convicted by the UN?
No. This is convicted by US, but this is not criminal. War is war.
Okay, Uno-san. So basically, you're talking about facts. What I'm saying is a fact. Whether you like it or not, that's different. The fact is that they have been convicted. And
wait a minute. You said criminal or convicted. It doesn't make sense.
What do you mean?
It's not criminal, not convinced.
No, we're talking about facts, right?
Fact is not criminal. Fact is war.
Uno-san, you want to have I'm not saying whether they were rightly convicted, whether the tribunal had the right to say this. You're only asking about facts.
Yeah. What is fact?
What the Asahi Shimbun reported was about war criminals, and how do we define war criminals as per the rule of the UN. That makes it a factual war criminal under the definition of the UN. Reporting about this in the Asahi Shimbun is factual and therefore not a lie. Whether you agree with the war criminal or is a different issue. If they report about facts, then how do they betray it? Every newspaper has the right to give the facts. Now, this is a fact, and what the consequences were, that is unrelated.
Okay, this is a point we need to discuss next week. Okay. We need to discuss war criminal next week. What war criminal means? Why they deny visiting Yasukuni Shrine? They said visiting Yasukuni Shrine is they do not accept Japanese war criminal under the World War II. This is Asahi newspaper all the way their opinion. And majority of Japanese people against Asahi newspaper. Majority of Japanese people denies Asahi newspaper's opinion.
Okay, so we have been discussing this over the past weeks.
Okay, first of all,
and so what you mentioned is that what the military did in, for example, in China, we are both on the same page that was wrong. That there have been a lot of civilian victims because of what happened during the military actions overseas in China, especially in China. So we agree on that. So if these people have indeed been convicted and have been classified as war criminals, then does that justify them to be revered by as just like any other soldier who served his country in Yasuni Shrine? I can understand that people have their questions about it, whether that is appropriate or not.
The soldiers are dead since Meiji restoration, more than 3 million shrine and shrine.
Right, but why did they choose to actually include these soldiers who actually were responsible of many deaths within China? Why did they decide to include them into Yasuni Shrine? What was the reason behind it?
Oh, must be considered about what this war means. Before World War II, Japanese soldiers tried to save Japanese people waging war against China, against America. So those people who dead should be enshrined, and Japanese people should respect them.
No, sorry, I do not buy that the generals in China were trying to protect the Japanese people. That has nothing to do with protecting the Japanese people.
Why are you talking about China? Also, many people dead, and also Chinese people dead, including ordinary people. This is a war.
No. Are you saying that basically what happened in China is just a regular act of war?
Yeah, regular war. I know that very well.
Really?
No,
okay, so that's where
war.
we have a difficulty in understanding the Japanese view, or at least your view. I think it's widely understood everywhere in the world that this is not a regular act of war. Sorry.
No, this is a war.
No.
That was war.
That was a hunt.
You mean invasion, you mean? In Manchuria, many Japanese people dead are the final result of the clothing war.
No. We are talking about is the people who have been convicted of war crimes, people who were, for example, involved in the Nanking, who were in Nanking and were responsible for many people to die.
Not Nanking. Nanking is a small bit. All over the China, Japanese soldiers killed many ordinary people.
So people who were responsible for that, they are also, and they have been convicted by war crimes. Now, okay, they have been put into Yasuni Shrine. That is, and been paid tribute to. So that is that's a choice. But that makes visiting of the prime minister and politicians a very sensitive one. You can say, okay, well, we decide that we make it indiscriminate because they all fought for Japan. The other people outside of Japan might argue that basically by doing that, you're also paying tribute to people who committed crimes against our people. And if you're paying tribute to that, means that you're not really sorry for what happened, and that is a choice that Japan makes. But I would not be surprised if other people take offense.
I have a question for you. How do you think about Tokyo trial?
What I think about Tokyo trial.
Or additional question: how do you think about atomic bomb? How do you think about Tokyo air raid?
How do I feel about the air raid?
Yeah.
Do
you know all city of Tokyo, everything disappeared? Do you know that?
Yeah. Did you see the video of what happened to, for example, other countries that Japan occupied? I mean, it's comparing apples with oranges.
I know very well. But my simple question: how do you think about Tokyo trial?
to be completely honest with you, I don't regret some people have been convicted there.
This is, I think, we need to discuss about this content. And your image for the waging war is you Japanese criminal and conviction, right? So this sort of area we need to discuss about more detail about what area we need to talking about. This is very important because Japanese people, they've never educated for those areas. Everybody, many people, they feel guilty, but I think some of those might be guilty, but some of those not guilty. So Japanese people, they skip those education because of teachers association try to avoid teach them. So they don't know what about World War II. They don't know what about Great Asian War. Normal Japanese people, they know almost none of those does not know what happened 100 years ago.
Right. I mean, I think actually, I don't know either. And even though you studied, I wonder if you really know, because
I tell you, I studied a lot. I read a lot of English materials.
Yeah, sure, Uno-san, but you also saw everything through the eyes from other people, and I really wonder whether knowing all the details will make so much difference. I think it's in case to make sense of this all, you need to take a few steps back and say, okay, mistakes were made. Who exactly made which mistake? I don't think that's so much of the issue here. It's more about in general. Okay, maybe some mistakes were made. Maybe some things were handled. When you think about the dropping the atomic bomb, that's a terrible thing to do. How can you even come up with such an evil idea? A lot of people who had very little to nothing to do with this case were victimized. But if you take a few steps back, is it completely incomprehensible, putting in perspective of that time? I think people made a wrong decision, absolutely the wrong decision. But there are always arguments to think of, to justify a lot of things. Ultimately, we need to decide in terms of history that this was absolutely the wrong decision. And this is something that people can be convicted for. Are they 100% wrong? No, they were 99% wrong.
But we should study anyway.
But still, they're wrong. Well, I really wonder how much we benefit from that. If we insist on looking at details and not look back at the bigger picture, I don't think we can learn a lot other than arguing about what actually happened and little details. It actually is a trap to never coming to terms with the facts and the things that happened. I think what is very different from the discussion in Japan, for example, compared to Germany, is that Germany didn't really focus so much on the facts, but more on the why. And not on the what, but on the why. But Japan never got beyond that. Like at Uno School, we always talk about the what, but the why, I think, is much more relevant question.
Exactly, I agree with you that point. Why? So that's the reason why I wrote Great Asian War book, and I wrote Comfort Woman book, and I studied 1 year, and then I
But that's the what. That's the what, not the why.
No, why? This is my basic question, why? And finally, like a Comfort Woman, this is 100% Asahi newspaper lied past 50 years.
Well, the foreign media doesn't seem to think so.
No, everything lie. I just find out what is the true story.
Sorry, I can't follow you, and it's certainly not 100% lie. Maybe it's a 50% lie. Maybe it's a 60% lie. Doesn't matter. Whatever remains happened, and I don't think it's
everything
that
fake
much
news.
relevant.
Everything fake news. I'm not right-wing people. I'm neutral. I read a lot of material. surveyed many.
Ore-san, if you say that it's 100% lie, then sorry, that's where our discussion ends, because I don't really believe that you believe it.
Yeah, maybe your background is different. This is Westerners, article, news is very much revisionist. Influenced by Korean people. Korean people all over the world, many people can speak English. Chinese people same, but Japanese, they cannot speak English overseas.
Not only influenced by Korean, but do you think also influenced by even our own history?
Japanese cannot speak English. They cannot execute everything. Always apologies.
There was a research into our history in Indonesia, and sorry, Uno-san, I hate to disappoint with you. This is not only the Koreans who are saying this.
Indonesia is just Dutch young women. They try to control for the brothel. This is wrongdoing. All those related people is hanged.
You think? Oh, really? You think that it was just a brothel? I don't think so.
This is very exception.
And it's an exception, but it did happen. Okay, so that's one. But the same discussion is happening in Taiwan. The same discussion is happening in the Philippines. The same.
No. I'm talking about comfort woman Korea. Comfort woman Korea.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, seriously, it's not. Even in a country that's sympathetic to Japan, in Taiwan, they have this discussion.
No, I'm talking about comfort woman in Korea.
Yeah, okay. So, but you say it never happens. How come it happened in Indonesia, in Taiwan,
sorry, Taiwan is no. You always misunderstand. Taiwan was Japan.
Okay, right. And the Netherlands was Germany during the 1940 to 1945, right? Oh, right. Okay. So, I think we beg to differ. I believe we were the Netherlands, but we were occupied by the Germans.
And different. Taiwan and Korea is not occupied, just truly belonging to Japanese territory. Not occupied.
That sounds so weird if you say that to
No,
we really
Japan.
don't understand that?
No, not like German occupation. And Taiwan, Korea was 100% is Japanese territory, Japan. So many people misunderstand overseas people. Korea is a different country, Taiwan is a different country, Japan invaded. No, this is a Japanese country at that time.
How can that be?
Yeah. So we need to restudy. And many Japanese people also misunderstand and read by Asahi newspapers wrong opinion. So global people misunderstand what happened in the past.
I really don't understand how you can say that you go to a country like Korea that they don't have native Japanese people. You go there, you occupy it, and then you say it's Japan. That's
No, your education background is wrong. This is Korea, and until 1945, that was Japanese country.
Am I the only one who doesn't understand it, or do you understand this?
Yeah. This is Japanese country.
Do you understand that Korea was Japan and not occupied by Japan?
No, not
I don't
occupied.
understand it seriously.
No, not occupied. Taiwan is not.
That's a very critical issue. Someone said occupied. Someone said not occupied. This is what angle do you